Hey guys, Neil Waterhouse. In this video, I want to explain how to set up yourself to dropship on Amazon for the long term. Now, just for the newbies out there, dropshipping on Amazon means listing items on Amazon before you purchase them. And then after the items sell and you get paid, you then purchase them from your suppliers. And your suppliers ship the items direct to your customers. In other words, dropshipping is a cash flow positive strategy. You never need to see, touch or ship the product yourself. And you also don't need to pre-purchase inventory before you've sold it. You only purchase inventory after it's sold. Okay, my first rule to dropshipping on Amazon is to never use overseas suppliers like Aliexpress, Banggood, etc. as when the items arrive late, your Amazon listings get defects and bad reviews. Yes, I know I'll get a lot of flack for saying this because there are so many people out there saying to use Aliexpress and other overseas suppliers, you know, if you're Amazon, eBay, dropship business. But the reality is, I've been dropshipping for over 30 years and selling online for over 20 years. I'm also the founder and host of the 4 largest eBay and Amazon meetup groups in Australia. And also, the creator of Dropship Formula. So I get to see the sellers who are making the most money. And I also get to see the sellers have been around the longest and they get the least amount of defects and negative feedback. Using overseas suppliers like AliExpress can give you some quick money, you know, and you can sometimes get away with selling overseas items on your own independent website, you know, like a Shopify store. But if you're in this for the long haul, dropshipping on Amazon and eBay, you know, I highly recommend you only use suppliers which meet the following 5 criteria. Now, number 1, only use suppliers which are based in the country you're building your business for. Now, just because you live in, you know, Canada, Australia, UK, USA or wherever, does not mean you've got to build that dropship business in that country. You know, dropship businesses are online, so you can build them in almost any country that Amazon or eBay are located in. Now, last time I checked, eBay was located in 27 countries and Amazon was in 30. Now, we've built these businesses in USA, Australia, Canada, Ireland, UK, Spain, etc. And you can do the same as well. You can also build multiple dropship businesses in multiple countries. And you can also sell them as a capital sale, which I've talked about before, but that's for another video. Now, the second criteria for suppliers is they must be able to dispatch within 2 business days. Don't use suppliers that cannot dispatch within 2 business days. As, you know, buyers don't like to wait for what they've purchased. You know, a buyer may have taken 6 months to finally, you know, make up their mind to buy something, but you know, once they've decided, they want it quickly. Now, the third criteria for suppliers is the supplier must have what we call a dynamic website, and that's a website which shows whether or not the supplier has the item in stock. You know, obviously when you list a dropship item on Amazon, eBay or your own website, you need to make sure the item is available at all times. And the great part here is as long as the supplier has a dynamic website, we can automate the process of making the inventory go to 0 on your listing if your supplier runs out of stock. Now, this of course is to stop overselling an item. Now, the fourth criteria for your supplier is the supplier must be able to ship items with no invoice. You know, obviously if you've sold an item, you know, on whether it's Amazon, eBay or your own website for say $500, you have to make sure the supplier doesn't put an invoice in the box, you know, for say $300 made out to yourself. Now, the fifth criteria for your supplier is they must be able to box the items without putting them in some well-known retailer box, i.e. Kmart or Target, etc. You know, if an item turns up to your customer in a box that's got, say, Kmart written on the side of it, this creates what's known in the industry as buyer confusion. I.e. your customer purchases an item from you, you know, on eBay, Amazon or your own website, and then the item rocks up in a Kmart box. So, you know, you might be thinking, you know, how do I find out if my suppliers meet these 5 criteria? The first thing is don't ring them up and say, hey, do you dropship? Because that just creates a whole load more confusion because a lot of people, suppliers don't even know what the word dropship is. You simply, to find out, you need to either call them, email them or live chat them if they have live chat, and you only ask those questions. You've only got to do this once for each new supplier before you put any new dropship supplier on your supplier list. Now, just taking a quick step back to Aliexpress and other overseas suppliers, you can get away with using Aliexpress and other overseas suppliers for your own independent website, i.e. a Shopify store, but you know, that's a whole different video. You know, there's the pros and cons of a Shopify store. It's reasonably quick to set up a Shopify store, but the downside is you have to put in place a methodology to drive traffic to your store. You know, this can be Facebook paid advertising or Google product listing ads, or they're also known as it's PLA, which is, you know, obviously short for product listing ads. You know, and that's, you know, kind of what they know in the industry. But the downside of this type of advertising is it takes a fair whack of time to learn it, and it costs money to advertise on these platforms. Yes, you can do, SEO, but that's another story. People think, oh, SEO is free. No, it's not. We'll get to that in another video. But bottom line, about drop shipping on Amazon, if you're in it for the long term, only use suppliers which meet the 5 criteria above. That's all for this week. No matter where you're watching this, please scroll down, leave me a comment below. Until next week, list more, sell more. This is Neil Waterhouse.